Okay, pay no attention to the rat on my chest. We're down here in the engine room on Noeta, kind of a continuing saga trying to get this Watermaker to work.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to MV Noeta. It's Pat and Alexa with our main man, Gilligan the Fat Boat Cat, checking in from our 57-foot Nordhavn right here in sunny Mexico. You know, life aboard is all about self-sufficiency, right? Well, today, that self-sufficiency is getting a major workout because our rather ancient 22-year-old Watermaker has decided to throw a whole party of problems. Get ready to dive deep with us as we tackle a multitude of leaks, quirks, and mystery noises to get our fresh water flowing again. Wish us luck! When we bought our 57 Nordhavn 11 months ago in Homer, Alaska, we knew the 22-year-old Sea Recovery Aqua Whisper Watermaker appeared to make water. But what we didn't realize until cruising the Mexican coast was that it was making water that was unsafe to drink and depositing it into our freshwater tanks. So a few months ago we began an unplanned long journey to do some much needed maintenance and repairs in order to hopefully make drinkable water and not have to buy a new system. We started by taking Noeta out into Banderas Bay to run the Watermaker, check the parts per million of particles in the water that the Watermaker was making. Okay, we've been in La Cruz for 5 days, I think. We're out making water, or at least trying to make water, to see if our Watermaker membrane is going to give us good enough water. So this is a first. It's kind of a test out on Banderas Bay. And we brought along some of my friends. So this is Sandra. Say hi.
Hi.
And met Sandra a few years ago. How'd we meet?
We volunteer with Sea Shepherd. We do ocean conservation together, and we were selling T-shirts and merchandise for Sea Shepherd and doing some outreach and telling people what Sea Shepherd does. And
Exactly. And we hit it off. Operation Get 'em Out of the Cruise.
Let's go over the house.
I am the Sea Shepherd, baby.
It's so badass. I love it.
And Sandra likes to crew on boats and is an avid sailor and a writer. And so just over the years in La Cruz, we've just done a lot together. We do a lot of trash pickups and we rescue a lot of animals and whatever is needed.
and every time I get an invitation for Noeta, I say yes.
I'm like, we're just making water. So these are my other really good friends, Bella and Luna off the boat, SV Bella Luna. How'd we meet?
I think we were doing a kids club event, and
Tell the truth.
we didn't really like Miss Alexa.
She didn't like me, I found out. When she first met us, you said I was a little much.
Yes, she was like, all in your face.
I was up in this space. Yeah. Well, and for those that don't know, I was a middle school teacher. So I get here and there are these kind of early teen, middle school, high school age kids. And I was really excited. And so I'm like, we're going to be friends. And I think that was a little much. And now look at us, though.
We are friends because we figured out you had a really fat cat.
Oh, they do like Gilligan. And so really, I think they use me for my cat.
Who doesn't
Yes.
like Gilligan?
Who doesn't like Gilligan? Right. So insert cat video here. Okay, which I will. Yeah. And they live on a boat. Where have you cruised on your boat?
We've been to 27 countries, starting in the east coast of the United States. We've gone through the canal 3 times, and now we're here.
Yep. Anyway, so they're all out here making water with us today, seeing if our Watermaker works. And on a beautiful bay cruise, we've seen a couple dolphins, but no whales yet. So stand by for whales out here. Okay, bye. Say bye, everybody. Oh, and there's Pat. Pat's driving. Okay, test 2. It's been in about a half an hour since we tested it last time. We're hoping it's going down. We just need to see the number going down. So, all right, 540, well, still 533, 529. It's not far off of where we were, but my hope was a half hour later we'd be going down. So we're down to 521. Still not drinkable, and we'll see what Pat wants to do. We might just keep going or assume we have a bad memory. Boat projects. Here we go. Thanks. I got line handlers today, which is pretty nice. Gonna dock port side because when we sterned in last time, our neighbors are very noisy. So we're gonna turn the boat around so hopefully we don't have to listen to it. So doing something a little different today. It's open and ready to go.
Can you check my RPMs on the wing?
Sure can. RPM on the wing engine. It's reading 1200, just over.
We'll bring it up to like 13.
On the wing.
Left throttle.
Left throttle. Up to 13.
Yeah, about 13.
All right.
I heard it go up.
Yeah.
I can hear it.
It's just above 13.
Oh, yeah, that's fine.
All right?
Yeah.
Okay. Bring in the wing engine throttle up. The wing engine powers all the hydraulic systems, so that's the bow thruster, stern thruster. Needs just a little more RPM to have the oomph to make both of those run while we're docking. So that's what that was. Buenos días. Regresamos. Mañana, ¿está bien? Si quieres, puedes. Okay, gracias. Oh. He's going to wash the boat today. It needs it so bad. It's so bad. So that's Adon. He's a rock star. And now he's going to wash the boat this afternoon. Yay. It needs it. It still has salt from Alaska. Just making water. All right. Whew. Thanks. Turns out our Watermaker needs work now. You know, it's a boat. Still a boat. Talking to Jason.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he dove.
To me? Such cheating. I love that.
Just testing the new toy.
We went out to make water, but our membranes are,
Yeah, that'll
they're
work.
making, it's like 500
13.
parts. So,
Beauty.
yeah, they're not
You
good.
know, Vallarta pay as they slip and then just fill it up.
That's right. Yeah,
We
we're
actually
already
thought
talking
about
to her
it.
about that.
Cheaper.
Yes, it is.
All right, we good?
Yeah, we're good. Good job, team.
All right.
Well done. Is that fender doing anything? Not really. It's all right. We'll adjust.
Excuse
Now that
me.
we're here, we'll adjust all the lines.
So back to the Watermaker. One of the things that this Watermaker is doing, the salinity probe measures the salt water content of the water that the Watermaker is making. It's way off. It's saying the water is about 200 parts per million, which would be really good, but it's not. It's like about 800, 900 parts per million. So the gauge is way off. And so what I've discovered as I'm spilling water is, here's the salinity probe. As you can see, it's gross. It needs, so I'm going to clean it with a toothbrush and some vinegar, diluted vinegar, to see if I can clean it up. If I can't, you can buy these things. They're about 190 bucks or so. But clearly that's bad. So that's the first step. Probably the next step, we'll assess the membranes, which are right there. I'm hoping that the O-rings are bad, but the probability of both vessels, pressure vessels, having bad membranes is pretty slim. So it's probably, the reality is the membranes are bad too. So we don't know how old they are. Can't find any receipts, and previous owner kept receipts for everything. So they may very well be original. They may be 20 plus years. So that's actually really good until we bought it. So I'm gonna scrub this thing down and see what happens. Here we are. I've got my little work pad. This non-skid, and this thing's really, it's brutal on my knees. So I got an old toothbrush, diluted vinegar. Try not to spill, but see if we can clean this thing up a little bit. Vinegar is really good. It's a really mild acid, so it's good for doing this kind of stuff, and shouldn't create any damage. It's already cleaning up quite a bit, so hopefully we can get this thing functioning again. Because this valve, or the sensor, it determines the salinity, and if the salinity, it meets whatever its criteria is, you know, for the parts per million, then it will open there's a 3-way valve that will send, it either sends the water overboard or into the tanks. So right now, because it thinks the salinity is good, it's just sending it into the tanks, even though the water quality is really bad. I'm gonna pause it because this is pretty thrilling. The real test is when we turn it on. We should see the salinity probe go up quite a bit. I have a handheld. I'm gonna go out and test, just see what the salt water reads, and then we'll check it on the panel on this thing, and they should be close, especially once we start moving water through it again. I don't know, probably not gonna make good water, but we can at least see what's going on with this. Put in a little fresh water, you know, just to neutralize the vinegar. And then I'm gonna rewrap this thing in the Teflon tape. This stuff, it looks pretty old, pretty janky. So, you know, it's time to start over. And I have a lot of that stuff, so I'll be right back. You want to be careful. You don't want to over tighten it, because all this is just plastic parts. So, you know, you over tighten it, cracks, then you have a lot of bigger issues. I mean, this stuff is, these manufacturers are rather proud of it. So it's gonna get a little twist with about a quarter turn, and then power up. Oh, I'm gonna go see what the salinity gauge says, our little handheld probe. And I'll turn this thing on and see what happens. I've already looked at the water around the boat. It's not ideal to do it in the marina. There's a lot of gunk and stuff in the water, but it's kind of where we're at. So this is what we have to do. So I'm gonna start this thing up. There it goes. All right. So forgot to open the through hole. All right, let's try that again. Pretty quiet. Right now we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 10. Each little LED light on the panel corresponds to 100 parts per million. So it's reading correctly now. Before, it was showing 2 lights, so 200 parts per million, which was way incorrect. That's why it was pumping water into our tanks, or bad water, because the Watermaker thought that quality was good. So we're looking at the 3-way valve and put water into our holding tanks. So now that part's working better. We're gonna let it just run, cycle some water through, do this for about 5 minutes or so, circulation, and then we'll increase pressure and see what happens. So when you start increasing pressure, you want to do this slowly. Membranes can take a shock with sudden decrease, but it's really hard on them with a sudden increase. So I had this knob backed all the way off, so there we go. See the needle starting to move a little bit, and you might be able to hear it too. It's starting to push the water through the membranes, hopefully anyway. So you want to run it up to about 800 psi. I put a little Sharpie mark on there just for, you know, ease of looking. You can hear the pump starting to, it's working a little harder now. Just go slowly. You can see our salinity has not changed, so I'm going to guess the membranes are bad. Oh, high pressure. It's spiked. And we had a high pressure cutout. The pressure was kind of doing a spike, so I don't know, it might be passing gunk through the system. And there was quite a bit by the sensor, so maybe there's more to the system, I don't know. So I'm going to bring pressure up a lot slower and let it run like this and see if it clears. We're now about 600 psi. That's really not enough to make good water, but it's really not the purpose right now. So now we're at 700. Our LED salinity gauge hasn't changed. It's still flashing on the top scale, so it's saying it's at least 2,000 parts per million. So I don't know if that's right. I mean, I got 1,500 with a handheld probe, but it was so high when I added in the water it didn't even read, so we'll see. Right now it's saying 800, which I would agree with. That's what we've been seeing. That's 700, 750. They say 500 is the top limit. It's depending on the government. You want some minerals, you want some stuff in the water, because that's how our body gets them, gets minerals. But too much of a good thing is not a good thing, I guess. So I'm just gonna see what this thing does. So we had a little leak, I just shut it off. It's on the three-way valve, just a little compression fitting, had a little leak. I started playing with it while I was running, the leak got a little worse, so I shut down and start over basically. See what it does now. It's already improved by 200 parts per million on the top. It's 800 parts per million right now. That's the particulate that's in the water. So the membranes filter that out. So I'd like to see it obviously down around 200 or 300. But we may not get there with these membranes. I'm sure you can hear the unit with the recording. It's amazingly quiet. It's the aqua whisper. So yeah, I guess that's pretty true. All right, down in the engine room, kind of continuing on with more water stuff. I'm starting to, well, when I replaced the freshwater pump for the house water, they had a fitting on there for the freshwater flush, and when I replaced the pump, there was nowhere for that fitting, and it was kind of janky. It leaked, it sucked air. I don't know, I wasn't crazy about the setup. So I removed that hose, and it is off of, let's see, turn around. It's off of that, wrong way, that filter. See, freshwater flush. Get a little closer here. So it went in here, went down, and it zip tied into all this. And it goes down into that hole, and it disappeared. So I traced it over to here, came up, and it went connected into that pump. Or not that pump, but the old pump over there. So now what I'm gonna do, I bought more tubing, and I'm figuring out now I'm gonna run it. So I'm gonna run it down through here. I think through that hole. I'm gonna cut a hole there so I can get my hands in there and access all that. Then I'm gonna run it along here. It'll go underneath into the bench, back here, and I bought a T with an appropriate fitting. It'll tie into this plumbing, the sink plumbing here. It'll be all underneath here. That's the simplest way I can think of to do it. I'm also going to replace that sink faucet because that one leaks and it's old, and it's going to be easier for me to just replace the whole thing. So when I do that, I'll depressurize the water system, cut into it, string that fitting over there, and that'll be that. And then I'll replace the membranes, which are there, and then we'll have the ability to make water again. May have to wait. I'm not sure about the O-rings for the membranes. So there's always something. And of course, down here in Mexico, that means it's going to be probably another month, you know, the way parts and everything works down here. All right, I got the hose kind of down that hole. I had to cut a couple access, a big access, and then the littler one is where the tube's actually going to run, and I'll just string it along this bulkhead here. That's the simplest way I figured out how to get freshwater flush into here. All right, so there's the holes I cut. I painted them because those pieces there, they're not structural per se, but they have a wood core. Nordhavn does that. A lot of boat builders does that just for weight and strength. You don't really need the structural integrity of like solid glass there, and in theory it shouldn't be getting exposed to water either. But when you cut a hole like that, you got to seal it so the wood grain's not open to if there is water. And this is a very water intensive corner. Watermaker, it's a boost pump for the Watermaker, and behind that is the house water pump. So there's a lot going on in this little corner. Okay. So there's the fitting. That's for the freshwater flush. Took a little bit of effort to find this thing, the blue, the cold water, but that goes all the way through there, all the way around to there. And in the process, we decided we're going to replace this faucet. It leaks quite a bit. It drips like that. And it's just easier. I mean, this thing is pretty. This is original. So I'm going to do that now. I'm going to replace that thing.
Why are we just running water on a boat? Generally, you want to conserve water, but today we're running it so that we can empty all the water system of water so Pat can do a plethora of projects that include taking apart fittings and hoses, so hopefully he doesn't get soaked like he did last time. Anyway, we didn't have a ton left. We had just done some washing machine and dishwasher and long showers, and so now we're just running it empty. So what challenges have we had while replacing this old faucet today?
This is my least favorite thing to do on boats is plumbing. So this is the new faucet, the old faucet. I had to grind it off because they literally built this around this. The fittings was a big bronze nut. I don't even know where it went. You couldn't get it off, so I cut it off. But in doing so, I discovered that the fittings that go from here to the boat plumbing, the whale fittings, are different sizes. Same company, same fitting. But
We have leaks down here,
now
you
we
know?
have leaks.
And now we have leaks. So we're running the water out again.
Got a leak there and over there.
Just 2 leaks. How do I get over there?
Well, it started with doing the freshwater flush.
Oh, because you replaced a fresh water flush today also. And so, plumbing in paradise?
I'd like to say lots of bad words right now, but she won't let me.
And with that, we need to take a break. Check back next week for part 2 of our Watermaker Woes.